Welcome back to another video. I hope you've been enjoying the previous ones. I hope you enjoy what's still yet to come. And I have also decided that I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I decided that I was going to get a mic and try and see what the audio would sound like with one, because I realized that the audio sounds a bit muffled-ish. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but we'll see how things pan out with the mic and we'll go from there. Today, I'm just kind of wanting to talk about how I do not get everything done in 24 hours. And basically telling you that it is okay to not get everything done in 24 hours, because you want people to do so many things in one day that how are you actually going to have the time to do everything in one day? We're all expected to have a life outside of working, responsibilities, friends, hobbies, all of this kind of just contributes to having a life. And it's work and then it's life, so it's trying to figure out how to make this work. I didn't want to use the word, but I think for me, ever since getting a full-time job, I have come to realize that it's really difficult to actually be able to do everything you want to do in one day. It's understanding that, okay, well, if I can't do this today, I'll try and do it a different day and I'll move things around so I can actually live the life I want to live, I feel like there's this trap that we might fall into with work, and then on the weekend, do nothing. And it's okay, you can do nothing on the weekend, but at the same time, then it feels like you're not living life. You're not doing anything in your life that you wanted to do. When you're working throughout the week, you feel like you have to do something on the weekend, or you feel like you shouldn't be doing anything on the weekend, which I think is kind of hard to balance, because obviously you're working throughout the week and then you want some time to be able to just, be in your own space. But it's also kind of it's understanding that on the weekend, give yourself some time to do nothing and try and give yourself some time to do something. And I think it's just also making sure that you're not overloading yourself. If you choose to do something, then you need to kind of balance it out in terms of don't overwork yourself, because obviously the weekend is for relaxing to some extent. The weekend is giving yourself the time to do whatever you choose to do. It's understanding that, well, if you choose to on the weekend not do anything, that's fine. It's fine to not do anything on the weekend, and it's understanding not to feel guilty about not doing anything on the weekend, which I think is very difficult for people. For me, at the moment, I'm trying to get a lot of different things done in one day, and then I kind of get burned out because I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I can't get this done. Okay, maybe not burned out, but more would you call it anxiety? I don't know, but I guess anxiety on not doing things and not getting things done and worrying about the fact that I've not done these things. It's slowly coming to terms with the fact that I'm not going to be able to get everything done, and for now, that's okay. Currently, if I was to list all my hobbies and the things I like to do in my spare time, I like to dance. I am currently trying to learn Korean. I just started running my own business. I also want to do my journaling and all that other stuff. And I want to game and I want to hang out with my friends, and I just want to be able to go on trips. There's just so many things you want to be able to do. How are you supposed to fit that all into one day? How are you supposed to fit that all into 1 week even? So I guess it's just, you need to figure out what days work best for what, and what are you going to put where, how much time are you going to allocate where. And it feels like you're kind of creating a schedule for life, but at the same time, it's just, you want to live a life, I want to really live, It is just a lot. When I'm trying to figure out what works best, it's kind of knowing as well what doesn't work. For me, with my Korean, for example, it's just, at first when I was learning Korean, I had so much time to be able to do that in, because when I started learning Korean, I was at uni And whilst at uni, obviously I had my assignments and stuff, but I feel like there was more time in between assignments to do stuff, especially when all I was literally doing was going to uni assignments. And then when I got a part-time job, there was that to add into it. With the aspect of learning Korean, right now I have fallen off. I'll be totally honest, I have fallen off learning this. I think the only Korean consumption that I have on a daily basis now, like to listen, is listening to K-pop and watching K-dramas, which the K-pop side of things is very passive learning, unless you literally like sit down and read the lyrics and things like that. It's something that I need to get back onto, but it's like figuring out what days work for me and how can I get this done. How can I fit it into my week, basically? I think we need to move away from trying to fit everything into one day and say, we're going to try and fit it into this week. When you try to plan ahead too far, you get into the mindset of, I need to make sure I get this done. I need to make sure that this happens on this day. I need to make sure it happens at this time, you know? And that can kind of like send you into a spiral. Like, it sends me into a spiral sometimes. I know the world is going to continue turning, but I have like this internal feeling of, if I didn't do it today, when am I ever going to do it, you know? And then you kind of get worried about that, and you kind of like, well, how am I ever going to be able to do this? Don't set big goals. So when you set really big goals, it's harder to reach it. So for example, I will just be like, okay, so today I'm going to try and do this one conversation in Korean. I am going to go through the textbook, do all of this, and we'll call it a day, you know? So that's like my way of easing back into doing my Korean, because that's how it works for me. I think people might be a bit confused over consistency. And also I too have been confused over the word consistency and what it means in my life and stuff. And I think when we say consistency, I feel like the social term of consistency is obviously to be able to do stuff every day at the same time, same day kind of thing. But I think it's like understanding that consistency can take different forms. My K-drama journaling, right? So this isn't something I can do every single day, purely because it takes time for me to put everything together. So like, for example, I have to print the pictures, find the stickers, think about what I'm going to write, put it all together, and, you know, do all of that. And this is not something I can do. I could do it in one day, but it's the fact that it would probably take most of my day up when I want to do other things. I would just be like, okay, so on Saturday, maybe in the afternoon after 12, something like that, I will sit down and do my K-drama journaling, right? So if this isn't me, like if I don't put together the whole page or anything, I'll at least sit down and pick out the pictures, pick out the content, design the page layout and stuff like that. And if I don't have the time to put it all together that day, or I get too tired or whatever it is, you know, after doing everything else, I'll be like, okay, so I'll come back to this next Saturday, or I'll come back to it on Sunday. Because if I was to come back to it on Sunday, I'm more likely to do it just because I've already done everything. But to come back to it on Saturday then means that, okay, this time on Saturdays is for my K-drama journaling, you know? So I think we can also put consistency under that umbrella of like, it doesn't have to be every single day. If you choose certain days of the week, that works too. Consistency can take different forms, and it's just figuring out what works with your schedule and what works in your time frame. We need to kind of remember to let go of the meaning or understanding that consistency means every single day, you know, because every single day would be great. That would be great, but it's not plausible sometimes. It's not plausible to get everything done or to get certain things done every single day. So if you decide, okay, this day around this time, or if you're a person that does work well with like deadlines and time frames, then that's fine as well. But if you're somebody who doesn't and finds it a bit like restricting, then, you know, just choosing a day that works and around about a time that works is more likely to help you. I also believe in rest and relaxation, R&R. If you have the capacity and you have the time, space, energy, whatever it is, to be able to do this, then definitely do it. I think it kind of stops you from having a breakdown and it's definitely stopped me from having a couple of breakdowns. Kind of like deciding that, okay, so from this time to this time, I will just have time for myself. I will pamper myself and I'll do whatever I want to do. So for example, you might decide, I'm just going to order a takeaway. I am going to sit down and watch my favorite movie and nobody is going to disturb me. I'm going to put my phone on do not disturb. I'm going to put it away. And for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, it's just me and my movie and my food. If you're a very extroverted person, basically, then, you know, deciding on if you have like that friend who's always down for anything, just be like, hey, do you want to come over and we'll watch a movie, we'll order some food and, you know, let's just chill. And then they're like, yes, you know, then that's perfect. And for me, who's more introverted, I do prefer to spend time in my own space by myself. For me, that would kind of probably translate to, I am just going to binge read. I will choose to do this towards the end of the day. Works best at this time. So I'll probably just close my door, lights off, put on my little reading light, grab a book, and maybe I'll even make myself a cup of tea. You know, very British of me. I'll maybe make myself a cup of tea, or I will make myself a green tea, add a little bit of honey in there, you know, and sit and read my book. And it will just be me and my book for the next like 3 hours or something like that. Like, just thinking about it just makes me feel relaxed as well. I feel like, especially if you've had times where you can relax and you've done it successfully several times, then even the thought of it just relaxing you just goes to show that, you know, it works. This is good for you. The relaxing is just exactly what you want to be doing right now. For me, if I want to reset for the week ahead, which most of the time is what I want to do, on Sundays, I'll usually take this day to just relax and be in my own space and try not to be busy. When my Sunday is taken from me and I can't exactly just relax, then I'll move this over to Monday. I might wake up just a little bit earlier, like maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour earlier, just to kind of make sure my space is ready for me to work in for that day. I think for myself, I've come to learn that, you know, if I can't do it on Sunday, it's okay. We're not going to cry about it. We're going to do this on Monday instead. We're going to have a mini reset day on Monday, and that kind of helps. Reset days are key, I think. Reset days are definitely key because you kind of get your mind right. You kind of get your mental right. I am prepping myself for what is yet to go. Overall, just understanding myself, and if this day doesn't work, I will try to make it work a different day. It's having the intention to try again rather than just saying you're going to try again. Because if you can give meaning behind wanting to do something, you're more likely to do it. If you put good energy out there, you will receive that energy. I hope that something out of all of my ramblings stuck with you, and I guess just think to yourself that it's okay. It's okay I didn't get this done in 24 hours because, quite frankly, to have a whole life in 24 hours is very difficult. So don't worry about it, and there's other days of the week to be able to do things. Live your life as best as you can live it, you know? That's how I always try to think to myself, like, do what you can do with what you've got, and it's okay to not be able to get everything done. And I hope you enjoyed the video, to be honest, and always keep doing what you love, because at the end of the day, if you love it, nobody can take that from you.